What's your primary medium?
Watercolors and acrylic ink. I painted with acrylic paints my whole life, and then I stopped painting when I traveled and lived in Australia for a bit, and then back to New Zealand and then to America eventually. So I stopped painting for a while, and then one of my artist friends introduced me to inks, and I experimented with those for a bit, and then from there I jumped over to watercolors. And I just really liked how they blended and all of the colors kind of came together to create sort of a galaxy effect, which I kind of fell in love with. I've always been interested in space. Some of my favorite classes have been physics. One of my favorite classes at Boise State was Stars and Cosmology that I took in my freshman semester. And experimenting with those inks, seeing how they came together and how they replicated that space feel, it just got my brain thinking, how can I experiment more with this medium and incorporate something that I love? I've always been interested in media production. I did a degree in media arts, and I wanted to somehow blend my love for production with my painting. So one day I took out my phone, I taped it to a little tripod that I had. I actually got a slab of wood and attached that to the tripod and then taped my phone to that wood so it was directly overhead my painting. And then I just did a time lapse on my phone, and from there I experimented with a new camera I bought, and then ever since then I've just been filming basically all of my paintings. These past 2 years, what's motivated me has been seeing my following grow and seeing the reaction strangers have had to my art, seeing people be inspired by my art and wanting to recreate it. That's kind of what's made me keep going, even though it's been so difficult with balancing everything in my life. So now that I have graduated, I'm kind of trying to find some inspiration because that's what's driven me, and I really don't want that to be driving me anymore because I want to do art for me and not for strangers online, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to find a balance between being able to grow my following still, but in a way that makes me feel fulfilled and happy. I always wanted to be a cartoonist growing up, so I've always loved drawing cartoons. And before I even painted anything, I was drawing when I was growing up. I don't think I ever even touched acrylic paints until I was maybe like 16. So with my watercolors, I just thought it would be cool to start incorporating cartoon drawings, and they're some of my favorite pieces of work that I create. I get a real kick out of looking up an image and then going and drawing it freehand, and then once I'm done, like looking at the two and seeing how similar they are, and it just makes me feel really proud. When I first started out, I was doing a lot of landscape pieces, and I wanted to find a way that was interesting and unique to kind of distinguish myself from all the other watercolor artists online. So I thought maybe if I incorporated some shapes, it would make it a little bit more interesting, and that's actually the first video that really blew up. It was a diamond painting of a night sky with trees all along the side, and from there, I just really liked the way it looked. I honestly can't remember how I started doing it, but since then, no matter what I'm painting, I'd say about like 50% of the time I just kind of incorporate a shape into it because I like the clean look of when I post, to have the watercolor paper around and a writing utensil or a pen or a paintbrush along the side. I was just at Fred Meyer and I saw some masking tape, and I thought, why not experiment with that since I've been trying to do all these shapes. So it's literally just Scotch masking tape, and I just draw out my diamonds or any of my shapes or anything that I want masked, and then I lay down the tape, and it just stops the paint from bleeding and creates those really sharp lines. It just makes me happy. I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, I can't explain it. Just drawing and painting makes me happy. Now that I'm a little bit more free, I'm definitely excited to look at all the exciting art opportunities there are in Boise.